In this quick video guide, we're gonna see how we can create a custom brush or custom sculpting tool in Blender to create this particular decoration or ornaments, which are like sculpted and they are like reliefs, bas reliefs on a surface. So you can create more organic shape or more mechanical depending on the alpha texture that you're using. So I'm gonna show you everything from the beginning or almost from the beginning. Just gonna go a little some steps before this. So you can see I've already have a nice surface in there. This is a cube that has been smoothed out, and also I've increased the number of polygons. If I see here in the viewport shading, I have a lot of polygons because you need a lot of subdivisions, a lot of polygons if you want to do high quality details, highly fine details like this. So you need more polygons. So I'm not going to show you how to do this. So how to start from the cube and get here. If you don't know how to do it, you can check the Blender video course or the Blender um, digital sculpting 3D character video course in the channel, and other video guides and other courses that we have in the channel. So what I'm going to show you here is how you can create your own customized brush using a texture and then apply it in a better way, in the best way. So first thing here, usually we don't have a texture. So right here, we are in sculpting mode, by the way. So not object mode, but sculpt mode. And if you want to do something similar, just to show you real quick, just add a cube like this. And then you switch to sculpt mode. And to increase quickly the number of polygons in there, so you can see now that there are only few, you can go to remesh and just decrease the voxel size. So let's do something like this and do remesh. So that's going to create a lot of polygons. You can see they are not enough to create details, but you can increase by decreasing the voxel size. So this is just to refresh some concepts. Now I'm going to delete this cube with the X, and let's go back here. Well, usually you don't have texture already applied to any of these sculpting tools that you have in Blender. So usually here you won't see anything in the texture menu. So I'm gonna delete this, and this is how it should appear. So this is the standard brush. And also be careful because you have different ways you can create strokes. So this is anchored, which means that it's gonna click and drag, and the stroke is gonna be anchored on one point. You're gonna change the size. But usually here we have the space, and you can define also a spacing. So if you have like a really short space, you have this continuous line. Otherwise, if you increase the spacing, you have like different points placed with the space in between. Now, how can I get the texture? How can I make things a little bit more interesting with different effects, organic and mechanic? Well, there are different sources that you can use. You can create your own if you're good in a graphic design application like Illustrator or Photoshop or GIMP or Inkscape, Krita, Canva, Pixlr, and so on. By the way, you will find all the video courses in the channel as well about this graphic design. So depending if you want to do like a metal effect or a mechanical effect, if you want to do something that is going to be repeated over and over, like a texture like this, or you can do something that you can place only once, like a leaf or a, a button or an ornament. So you have many different ways, and you can see I'm searching here alpha texture. So you just need to search for alpha texture. You can be more specific here if you want a skin, if you want a fabric, if you want snake skin, even more specific than that. And you can see that these are all black and white images. So remember that the white represent the part that will be extruded, so the part that will be in relief. The black will represent the part that will not be extruded, so that is not in relief. And you can see also many other examples here of how this is going to look like the skin texture and so on. Now there are some sources. You can find your own sources once you understand what you're looking for, which is a black and white image. So there are many different sources here, or you can just look for black and white image. So this, you can see this is the rose that I'm using. It's a rose black and white from raw pixel. So if you wanna search for it, you can just find it here. And raw pixels, it's gonna give you a lot of free content that you can use. So it's a CC0 image in this case. So it's completely free to use. And then you have like other stuff here. This is well, there are also some generators like Filter Forge and others. So just look for alpha texture generator in this case, or just look for the results here, the first results that you find when you look for alpha texture. And also one good resource is the ZBrush Alpha library. So ZBrush, it's a similar software which does digital sculpting. And again, you find a video course in the channel. But if we access this library right here, welcome to the ZBrush Alpha library, it's going to give you a lot of different alphas ready-made for you. So you have effects, ground, industrial. This is where I got the screw here. So you click here, and in this case, you just need to click on the download. It's going to download a zipped file, and inside the zipped file, you will find a Photoshop file in PSD format, but that's fine. You can use it in GIMP. And then you have rocks and patterns, nature, stencil. If you want to use it with paint, not only with sculpting, you can use the stencil, but you can use stencil also for sculpting. And then you have miscellaneous textiles. So if you want to simulate a fabric, you can use this. So you have really a lot of options. Now, all you need to do is how you can bring it in Blender and how you can use it. Another one, the last one I'm going to show you is texture.com, and here also you can search for. You have a search bar. So if you go here to library, you can search for, let's say, rock alpha, and you can see there are many different alphas, and some of these are free, so you can get it just by signing in or just click and download. And this is going to be like a JPEG image again. So you can use JPEG, you can use PNG, you can use PSD, many different ways you can use textures, alpha texture in Blender. Now, if you want, you can also manipulate the image. So if I go back here, you can see this is a black rose on a white background. Well, actually, I want the opposite because I want the rose to be in relief, leaving the background there and not extruded. So you can choose to invert if you want, and you need to know at least one application that does that. In my case, I've chosen to use GIMP. So I'm gonna file, open the file that I downloaded, which is gonna be this one here, and I convert the image, and I want to export this in JPEG or PNG. But before, I can go to colors and invert, and then file, export as. This is a WABP, but I can use JPG or I can use PNG. These are all good for Blender. So let's jump back in Blender and let's start to paint. So to sculpt or use these brushes or sculpting tools, as you want to call it. So let's use the standard one, the draw. And all we need to do is go to texture and create a new texture. And here you can go to the texture tab, or you can also open it from here by clicking these properties, show texture in texture tab like this. And you just need to open the one that you want to use. So in my case, I've downloaded this one here. Again, this was extracted. It was in a zipped folder, so you need to extract it. And then it's a PSD, but it's a Photoshop file. But you know, GIMP is the alternative of Photoshop and can be also manipulated in GIMP, or it can be brought directly in Blender. So you can see now I click and I will place these screws or rivets or whatever. Now, if I want to change here, well, one important thing is not to use, well, you can use it, they're tiled. So tile will create like a pattern. So if you're planning to do a pattern, tile is good because it's going to create a pattern where you're going to sculpt this. But most of the time, you probably want to switch from tile to view plane or some other here. These are explained, and if you want to know this more into depth, you can check the 3D character design video course which is gonna explain all of this. But I think, in my opinion, the view plane is better. And also you can use space. Again, you can use drag dots, so click and drag and place it wherever you want, or you can use the the anchored. So anchor, you're just gonna click and drag, define the size. Again, remember to have a lot of polygons if you want finer details, the finest details. And so let's do also the rows. So I'm gonna click here on this folder, and I can open up the rows black or white, and just give it a few seconds. Okay, pressing F is gonna allow you to change the size of the brush, or you can also change it from here, but you're gonna have like a stencil effect there, so you can see how big it's gonna be. And then you click and drag. Now this is the click and drag. So this is the stroke that is anchored, and it may look a little bit stretchy in there, those polygons. So you can smooth it out with a smooth, or holding the shift key, you can smooth this out a little bit so it looks a little bit better. There you go. And so you can see this is black and white. Let's change and make it white or black. There you go. So let's wait again a few seconds, and there's the new alpha texture. So if I click now, it's going to do the opposite. It's going to create something in relief, and then again I can smooth it out with the shift key. And you can also use another one like the drag dot if you want. Now let's change again the image. Let's use this oh, this is not an alpha texture. You can see this is not good. You need to have a black and white image. This is not good. So I guess you need to sign in the texture.com to download the actual alpha, but let's try with this PSD. So this is for a seam, and this is also from the ZBrush library. So you can see you can place it, click and drag and place it like this. Or again, you can go back to the space and click and drag. Now be careful to have it rotated correctly. So here you can rotate the texture, and you can offset and change the size and so on. In this case, I just want to increase the spacing, decrease the radius, and click and drag. So you can see, well, it's a little bit better. I'm trying to create a seam here. So the angle, it could be rake. And now let's switch back here to 0 and click and drag, and now it looks a little bit better. But you need to just, spend some time figuring out how you can do this. So this will be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. And if you support us by joining the channel, we will be able to create more and more videos. So join the channel, support us. Thanks, and see you in the next video guide.